human, and that is purpose. I want to look at what is purpose, how to identify purpose, how to maintain your purpose, and how to expand or build your purpose. Purpose is the only thing that is good for you, and purpose is the only thing that you need to discover. In all the discovery of life, you ought to discover your purpose. There is nothing created without a purpose, and there is nothing that exists without a purpose. In other words, purpose is the reason behind the creation of a thing or the manufacture of a thing. Before anything is being produced, there is a reason behind it. Before any person takes a decision, there's a reason behind that decision, and that becomes a purpose behind that decision. And so in Genesis chapter 1, when God created everything, he created everything for a reason. God never created anything for it to be isolated or to be left useless. No, but God created everything for it to be for use. The sun is created for a purpose, the moon for a purpose, the stars for purpose, animals for purpose, the plants and every other thing is created for a purpose. So as humans are also created for a purpose. Until purpose is discovered, existence has no meaning. And so today I want to actually look at what is purpose. Purpose is the reason for existence. Purpose is the reason why you are in this world. Purpose is the reason why God brought you into this world. Purpose is the reason behind the production of a product. In other words, the reason why a manufacturer will come out with a product is because the manufacturer has something in mind for that product. The manufacturer wants that product to fulfill a particular cause, and that becomes the purpose of that particular thing. And so when God created man, he created man from man to accomplish a specific task, and that becomes your purpose. Once your purpose is not discovered, then your life becomes frustration. The reason why a lot of people live a very loose life and frustrating life is because they have not discovered their purpose. If you don't discover your purpose, you will be an experiment to the world. If you don't discover your purpose, you will live a life of frustration, a life of depression, a life of suppression. If you don't discover your purpose, if you don't discover the reason why you are born into this world, the reason why God brought you into this world, then your life will not be simplified. You're going to have a life of lapses. And so purpose is the intention of God, the mind of God for man, the hidden mind of God in you becomes your purpose. Your purpose is the life course or your life assignment. What is that life assignment God has given to you? What is that life assignment of which you are brought into this world to do? Most of us, we don't actually discover our purpose because we are not exposed to the word of God, and we are not exposed to the meaning of purpose. We feel like it's about engaging yourself in something and doing anything. No, that is not purpose. The purpose goes far beyond that. And so it is very important that you get to know your purpose. You get to know why God brought you into this world. What is God's intention for bringing you into this world, for creating you? If you don't discover why God created you, then it means you've not understood God, and then you're going to live any kind of life. Why? Because you have no direction. A man without purpose is a man without vision, and a man without vision is a man without direction. And so once you have no direction, that means you can do anything at any time. You can be misled. People can misuse you. You become another person's use. You become another person's desire when you fail to discover your purpose. And so that is why it's important for you to discover your purpose. Now the question is, how do I discover my purpose? And this is one of the greatest problems to everyone in the world. The billions of people living on this surface of the earth are living for one thing, and that is purpose. To discover their purpose, to have a life of meaning, to have a fulfilling life. But then how do you discover your purpose? Once I know that, okay, purpose has to do with God's plan for my life, why I am in this world. How do I know why I am in this world? Now, it is very simple for us to understand and for you to identify your purpose of existence in the world. The problem is that we are not exposed to God's word once again, and then again because of the presence of religion. Religion actually does not teach man his purpose, and so this we'll talk about this some other time. But religion contributes to 90% of the world problems. You see, Man is in such a way that we feel like we can do everything on our own. We feel like we can be dependent, we can depend on ourselves wholly. But here there is that it is impossible for you to succeed in this world alone. You need people, and just as you need people, so you also need God. And so in the discovery of your purpose, at this stage, just about 2-3 points on how to discover your purpose of existence in the world. Number one way of discovering your purpose is to understand the principle of source and resource. The principle of source and resource reveals the fact that a man cannot survive without God. In other words, the source sustains the resource, and which means that a person cannot survive without his source. Man cannot survive without God. And so if you can't survive without God, that there is that connection between man and God. Man originated from God, and God is the only one who has the reason for creating man. And so if you want to discover your purpose, you have to go back to God. You have to connect yourself to God. You have to build a relationship with God. You have to seek the face of the Lord. And this is one of the things that is really difficult for people to do. A lot of us don't want to go back to God. A lot of us don't want to connect ourselves to God. And yet we want to live a fulfilled life. You want to live an effective life on earth. That is impossible. You cannot make it without God. You can't achieve it without God. And so the first key to identifying and discovering your purpose is to go back to God. You have to reconnect yourself to God. You have to seek the face of God and ask God to reveal to you, because He is the one who created you, and as the manufacturer, He is the only one who knows the reason for creating you. And so you ought to go back to Him. The second thing in discovering of your purpose is the utilization of your talent. And this is very important, and I want you to listen to this carefully. One of the reasons why people live a very loose life, one of the reasons why people live a less maximized life, one of the reasons why people live a very frustrated life is because we've abandoned talent. What is talent? Talent is that natural ability that is embedded in the life of a person. Your natural makeup is necessary for the accomplishment and the fulfillment of your purpose on earth. Now, when God gives you a thing, He gives you for a specific reason. God does not do anything without a reason. And so, it is important for you to acknowledge talent. There are a lot of people who are talented in so many areas, but then they've ignored it, they've abandoned it. Why? Because religion will tell you to seek God. Religion will tell you to live a holy life, but forgetting that God has designed you in such a way that your natural makeup is necessary for the accomplishment of your purpose. And so we ought to go back to this mindset and this belief. And so you need to appreciate your talent. What is that talent you have? There are most people who are talented in singing. Another person is talented in teaching. Another person is talented in so many ways. What is that talent you have? Make good use of it, utilize it, and then that becomes a purpose. That becomes a way of exploring and a way of building on your purpose of existence. And then you begin to develop a meaningful life. And so we go to church today. Our churches do not teach us the use of our talent. And so a lot of people who are talented have ignored their talent. They've left their talent unused and unutilized. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this, that your talent is necessary for the accomplishment of your purpose on earth. What are you talented in doing? What is that thing that is inside you that you are capable of doing? Use it and use it wisely. Never abandon any talent. Never abandon anything that you think you are good in doing. Never abandon any craft of yours that is very necessary. Never abandon that special ability inside you. You see, your talent, your potential are necessary for the accomplishment and fulfillment of the call of God upon your life. And so if you want to live a very simplified life, want to have a very effective kind of life on earth, you have to appreciate your talent. You have to appreciate that thing you are capable of doing and not abandon it and utilize it. One of the problems of our generation today is that with limited success to education, we feel like unless a person is educated, he cannot make it in life. But that actually is not a reality, and that actually is not true. Education is very important, is good, but then it should not be the barrier, it should not be the only limit, it should not be the only medium through which you can succeed in life. No, there are millions of people in this world who have succeeded in life without being educated. And then they have accomplished their reason for being in this world. They've succeeded in life, and that becomes a fulfillment of their purpose on earth. And so, to discover your purpose on earth, you have to also make use of your talent. You have to make good use of your potential, and above all, you have to make good use of the gift of God. What is the gift of God? It is that special ability of the Holy Spirit that is infused into your life for you to have an effective living on this earth. And that is something that you should not ignore, but you should build on it, and you should make effective good use of it. By so doing, then you will be able to develop on your talent, you will be able to develop and then have an effective life and accomplish your purpose of existence. Your purpose is that thing that keep occurring. It is that dream of yours that keep occurring anytime you go on bed. Your purpose is that thing that you have seen which has not been done, which needs to be done. That becomes your purpose. It is very easy to discover your purpose. Your purpose is that burden inside you. It is that thing that when you don't do, you don't feel comfortable. It is that thing that does not give you peace until it is done. That becomes your purpose. It is an inborn drive that is driving you. It is the burning sensation within you that needs to be unleashed and then maximized. That becomes your purpose. Now, the next thing we want to deal with critically is how to maintain your purpose. Purpose is very important, and once it is discovered, then it is the end of frustration. Once purpose is discovered, then frustration comes to an end. Once purpose is discovered, then life lapses and failures and other misfortunes comes to an end. But then when this purpose is discovered, purpose must be maintained. If purpose is not maintained, purpose can be destroyed, it can be misused. One of the ways to maintain your purpose is to understand the relationship between purpose and character. Your purpose will sustains your life, but your character sustains your purpose. What does this mean? Very important. Purpose and character they go together. Once your purpose is discovered, you need character to sustain your purpose. If you don't have a good character, your purpose will not go far. If you don't have an effective character, your purpose will likely deteriorate and will fade away. Most people discover their purpose, but because of character defect, they are not able to build on it, they are not able to develop, and they are not able to go far. And therefore, very necessary that you develop on your character. You have to sit down and have a personal inventory of yourself and identify which area of life, what is that character defect in you, and then sit down, build on it, ask the direction of God to help you work upon it. Because if your character is not dealt with, then that means your purpose is likely not to go far, because your character is what will sustain your purpose. Beauty gives a woman marriage, but her character will take her back again. We don't marry beauty, we marry character. Character is what is needed, and so character is very important. If you don't have a good character, you see what promoted Joseph, what promoted Daniel was as a result of their character. They discovered the purpose for their life, but then they also dealt with their character as well. There are people who discover purpose without dealing with their character. They feel like once my purpose is discovered, then character is nothing. There's nothing more to do. No, there are a lot of work to be done, and that has to do with your character. If you don't build on your character,